Welcome to Talk to Me. Today's show is sponsored by Tiny Tales, Big Triumphs, How Animals Show Us Super Strength. This delightful book brings to life various animals who demonstrate overcoming obstacles, the power of teamwork, and the magic of adapting to changes. Filled with captivating and vibrant illustrations, it aims to teach important lessons about resilience and inner strength through the incredible stories of these animals. So if you have a 6-year-old to a 13-year-old that loves to read, this is the book you can be assured they can read without a problem. And if they love reading to you or you love reading to them, get this book. It's something you want to have in your arsenal. Hey, y'all, I am so excited because I have someone very special here with me today, and I'm going to get on to letting you see who she is. Jamie G. Smith is an acclaimed business and lifestyle elevation strategist with a mission to empower entrepreneurs to shatter glass ceilings of self-doubt and limitations. She is the visionary founder of LUXE Every Day and is dedicated to helping individuals lead a unique, extraordinary existence every day. With over 15 years of experience, Jamie has guided high achievers to orchestrate breakthroughs of quantum leaps in their success through her powerful signature online programs. Having shared her transformative message with audiences worldwide, Jamie's expertise has been featured in esteemed publications such as Authority Magazine, Health and Fitness, and the American Council on Exercise. Her impact extends to collaborations with global brands like BMW, Kia, and Reebok, where she has served as a spokesperson for Body Bar. Get ready to tap into your authentic power, break free from limitations, and become unstoppable as we delve into the insightful wisdom and guidance of the remarkable Jamie G. Smith. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to hear all about. So let's bring Jamie into the stream. Hey, Jamie, how are you?
Hey, Brenda, I am so honored and excited to be here and get to have this conversation with you today.
I am too. You know, this has been a long time coming because we had talked about it a while ago and it was just time for us to get it set up. So we're going to get right into it for those people that are watching in and want to hear all about what's going on with you. So we're going to start with my first question. Jamie, what inspired you to become an elevation strategist and how do you define success in that role?
That's such a great question. You know, it's kind of funny how people always tell us to like look for your natural gifts, right? The things that you're naturally good at, your experiences, and kind of combine all of those things. Well, that's basically what I did. Naturally, when I'm speaking to people, I start to strategize and I figure out what is a strategy that they're talking about that they need that would help them get there faster, right? Or to do a better job or to leverage. And my mind just naturally goes to that strategy piece. And I love to elevate people into their next level. So my strategy is really to piece together what are they having an issue with? Where's the gap? You know, and I know you know where the gap is, right? What is the next level for them? And what's a quicker, faster way for them to get there? What's holding them back? And it's so funny. I didn't even realize that I went back and I was looking at a strength finder test for a client. And my top strength is strategy. It was so, I didn't even realize that. So I love to combine strategy with creativity because I have both of those pieces. And then you mentioned, what is success to me? Success is living my life to the fullest in every area. That's how I started LUXE, because it stands for Lead a Unique, Extraordinary Existence. For me, that means everything. That means my relationships, my health, my adventure living. Like I love to have first-time experiences, right? And monetary helps me because it gives me the freedom to do all the things that I love. But my true success is really having connected relationships with people that I really value, right? And bringing value to the world and making an impact. So I'm very impact filled.
That's great. You know, Jimmy, when I was researching, I discovered that you grew up in a small Colorado town. I don't know, what lessons did you learn from growing up there that helped shape what you do today?
Wow. You know, it's so funny. Like if you're from a small town, you know, you're like many times can't wait to get out, right? And that was me as well. But when I look back on those times, I learned such great values. And when we're talking about business and life, these are values that will truly escalate you and elevate you in every area if you just simply apply these things. And it's really just valuing people, valuing relationships, being able to adapt and shift. So like I always laugh because I could go from shooting guns and fishing to a gala ball formal event, right?
Got
But it's
it.
because I grew up in a small town. My mom was more, she loved the concerts and all the things, right? The kind of a higher level of living. She loved the culture. And then my dad was a farm boy. And so really piecing together those things that make the essence of who I am. And when I come back to the essence of who I am, the foundation, it's really built on recognizing people for who they are, valuing people, and connecting with them on a deeper, more authentic level. And I think we can use that in business and life, right? Like those are skills that you can grow up and learn, that if you don't have, you can learn. And those are going to be skills that are crucial, I think, especially in this time period, Brenda. This part of the world where we're so disconnected, we have AI, we're overstimulated with cold calls and all of the things. This is going to be one of the most crucial pieces to moving forward, to be essential in business, is just that richer, deeper, authentic connection.
That's great. You know, Jamie, when I think about growing up in a small town, I can assume that, or maybe I shouldn't make an assumption, but I just know how I felt about different things. Have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome in a way that you had significant self-doubt or resistance and you were able to still achieve your goals in spite of all that? Could you talk about that?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the resistance piece because that's been probably the most recent. That was probably 2020. And I grew up in a Christian home, and I don't know if, like your listeners, some of them I'm sure may be Christian, some of them might not be, but I grew up in a Christian home, and although I love my Christian roots, there's a lot of that is also kind of grounded in you need to be humble, but humble in like a way that you don't say too much, you don't
Right.
too much, you don't, right? Like you have to be humble in a way you showcase everybody else, which is amazing. And it can also hold you back from shining your light in the world, from shining your
Absolutely.
truth in the world. And it can be this resistance of guilt of, if I shine, I'm going to outshine somebody else. I'm going to make them feel less than. And what I want you to know is that's the exact opposite of how God created us, because I had that resistance and I was playing small. And even though I'm an achiever, and I know there's so many achievers on here, just like you, Brenda, you're like, you're such a high achiever at everything you do. And there's achievers, and achievers can still achieve and achieve and achieve. And yet, I can guarantee 98% of them are still playing small, not fully using and tapping into everything that God has given them. And that was me. And part of that realization for me, part of that resistance was, if I show up fully as myself, first of all, like I won't be that humble person we're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
It's that Christian guilt. And then also, though, I might make somebody else feel less than. And there's two parts to that. Like you can make them feel less than, and then you get attacked, right? You get judged. So you kind of fear either failing or getting judged, attacked, not being part of the people, right? But
Right.
also that person feeling like you made them feel less than. And I had to get over that. That was my resistance of, no, like God he gave you all of these amazing specific gifts. And if we don't unwrap them to the fullest, it's like hiding them in the closet. And that is holding everybody back. Because as I rise and give permission to others, right? So as I rise up into my fullness, as I use my voice in the fullest extent that I am meant to, that allows other people to be like, hey, I can do that too, right? And so
Right.
that's what I encourage you. If you're holding back, even a piece of you knows this, like just let go and step forward. You don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be an amazing adventure, and just embrace your fullness.
That's true. Let's talk about the people you serve. When I was doing research, I noticed that you talked about women over 40. And I believe women over 40, like myself, encounter certain professional and personal challenges and struggles. What have you observed, and how do you assist women over 40 in what you do?
You know what's funny is there are so many things that can hold women back. But many times it's themselves. Like, let's just be honest. It's our perfection tendencies, right? It's our need for control and needing to know the outcome.
Mm.
Right? There's
I'm
these
a control freak, so I get it.
Yeah, it's true though. we don't realize. And so many women, they need to know the outcome. They want control over that. They are such perfectionists because they want to do an excellent job. I think that there's a study that it's something like 80% of women won't start until they know that they can create a great product or a great ending. Whereas men, it's like 2%, 15%. They just have to know, like, they're close, like they think they can do it, and they start. Whereas women are like, no, I have to do it perfectly. And all I want to say is that's fear holding you back. That is fear of failure. That is fear, right? That is fear of holding yourself back and fear of being seen too big. And the reality is if we just start, do it messy, just begin, and you will learn on the way. You will learn so much faster. You will gain so much more clarity, and you will gain momentum. But when we hold ourselves back, and I see this with women, if you're listening right now, like, I talk to you all the time, and there's this need for, like, I have to do it perfect. I just want to release you from that, because that is the biggest lie ever. And I would rather see your message get out in the world, your fire get out in the world, start changing lives, and then figure it out along the way, right? And the same thing with control. The moment I learned to let go of control was the moment I had freedom. It's the moment that I had the ability to ebb and flow with what happened with life. I actually gained more control by giving up control.
That's hard to learn sometimes, and we could spend a whole show just on that right there about letting go. And I often do talk about the need to let go. Jamie, what would you say is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about what you do as an elevation strategist, and how do you overcome the myth of what they believe?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is because there's so many coaches, quote unquote coaches out there, people assume, and there are a lot of very good coaches. There are some coaches that just, they're trying to follow their passion, but they haven't learned any skills, right? So there's all of these coaches. So people tend to lump myself as an elevation strategist in with a bunch of coaches. And I'm not saying anything bad about coaches. Like, I need a coach. I know you have coaches, Brenda, right?
I have 5. Yes.
Right. Coaches need coaches. And
coaches need coaches. I say it all the time.
Girl, let's just do it. But I get lumped in with all the coaches, and everybody's a life coach, everybody's a business coach, and I'm like, the biggest misconception is I'm not really a coach, I'm a strategist. And also, I think intuitively I do things differently. Like, some coaches are they have followed a system, and everything looks the same. And for me, and this is just for me, because I believe everybody needs their own way to do things, right? That's what makes them unique and special. And for me, I'm very intuitive. I personally am kind of a God girl. So I'm a conduit, and I'm more about, let's see what's going on. And I don't want to be the person telling you. I want to use the full resources that I have, which includes the creation of God and his messaging, to unfold what the biggest plan is for you, unfold what the next biggest strategy is for you. And so for me, that's how I go into business. That's how I go into a relationship, is really like getting more information so that we can take out the things that really aren't true for you, that you think are still true. And let's sift those out so we can get to the core of what you're really trying to achieve, who you really are. Because right now, my biggest thing that I am loving is, and feeling a calling towards, is calling people out and up into their destiny identity. So what is their destiny identity? Because I feel like God's calling forth those people right now.
I want to put a pin in it right here just for a minute, because you saw me, I was looking at my phone, which I don't normally do, but I wanted to, because I know there's going to be some of the people that watch call my regulars. There's a difference between a coach and a strategist, as Jamie pointed out. And I think it's important to just I love definitions. And I pulled up this thing and said, if you want to know the difference between a coach and a strategist, talk about coaches working with people one-on-one, strategists do the same. But a business strategist can help you develop a plan and grow your business. If if it's a business strategy, while a coach can help you implement the plan to reach your goals. There is definitely a difference on how they work. But nowadays, like you said, with so many coaches and so many people calling themselves life coaches, business coaches, strategies, whatever, it's been just kind of all mixed together. And that's why I say it's important to vet the people
Hey, yes. Amen.
that you have, that you're letting speak into your life and that are going to help you do the things that you say you want to do. And as you became a strategist, this is the thing, because you're actually helping people develop plans to help them elevate, which I think is pretty amazing, because you are what I have researched and come to know as an outgoing introvert. To me, that's a contradiction. And I figure that can be kind of challenging, but how do you navigate and balance your personal and your business life when you are an outgoing introvert?
Girl, all right, let's just get down and have this conversation, because it's true. Like, and what's funny is if you were to research, for example, one of our good friends and mentors, Jen Gottlieb, she's also an introvert, right? But she speaks on stage. She does these amazing things. And
Right.
I look into all these people that are amazing stage presenters, and they're out in the eye, and they're actually thought leaders. They're influencers. But what you don't realize is behind the scenes, they're actually an introvert. That God has called them forth, because a lot of introverts have very reflective thinking. And that's what makes them really great, because they're coming up with all this revolutionary content if they're allowing space to do so. And they have these deep thoughts and these processes, and they're thinking through frameworks, and they want to share them. And so that's amazing. But when you get in front of an audience, or you go to a huge event, and if you're an introvert listening right now, you can just raise your hand. You can pump the air. You can be really quiet if you want, but just know I get so exhausted, and I've had to learn. And this is how actually I came up with my course Velocity, Brenda, because I had to teach myself how to manage my own energy. Because if we don't teach ourselves to manage and optimize our energy, somebody else will steal it and take it and do what they want with it, because people want, right? They want to have more of what we have. And that's amazing. But also, we can't give the fullness of who we are unless we are filled to the brim with energy, with our light, with our life. And I personally can't do that. I have to go away from people, away from stimulation, to fill back up. And so my course Velocity was actually created around this, because it gives you the ability to look at what are the people, the environments, the different things, the different characteristics, right, that either suck energy out of you or give you energy. Once you know that, though, now you can strategize around before, during, and after the event. What can you do to create a success plan to be in your fullest capacity?
I love that you say that, create a success plan, because a lot of people do not plan. And I see that a lot with my own clients. But I want to talk for a minute about you being a speaker. You are an international speaker that has presented in Canada, China, Sweden is on my list here. And that always fascinates me when people are speaking around the world. But I wanted to know, what topics and messages resonate with the audience that you reach out in the space as an elevation strategist? And how do you see growth in their transformation as they hear you?
Yeah, well, I love to speak, and I know, like, Brenda is fire on stage. If you haven't seen her before, she's fire. But I love to speak, and it's not to be seen. It's not to be elevated. And I know Brenda will agree, it's this energy exchange between the audience and the speaker, and it's this transformation that can happen in literally 5 minutes, 30 minutes, right? And it's creating that transformation. And some of my favorite things to speak on are capacity, which if you increase your capacity, which is that energy management, that energy optimization, you can increase your potential to do anything. So if the people I work with, a lot of times are going to the next level. So they need next level strategies, right? Capacity, they have to have the new capacity level from what they had before to be able to achieve and stay there, to get through the barriers and the challenges, right? So capacity is one of the favorite things to talk about. And then power, like, how do you embrace more of your power? And part of that is walking in the ease and authenticity of your power requires you to actually go back and look at what are things that are holding me back? What are self-sabotaging behaviors that I have? Because when you can seize those, when you can be aware of those, it empowers you to be able to change those. And now you are able to overcome anything. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing. It doesn't matter what the globe is doing, what's going on with the government. You are able to have the power to overcome and rise above and stay in the best version of you because these outside sources aren't controlling you. And then igniting them. Like I love to ignite people because when you're doing big things, you get burned out.
Yeah.
And when you've lost yourself, you get burned out, right, Brenda? And so we need to reignite our soul, tap back into the essence of truth of who we are and the things that fire us up so that we can be this bigger version of us and supply the exact abundance of who we are with everybody around us. So those are a couple of the things that I love to talk about.
You know, as a speaker, it's something that you've brought up several times, which just bring me right into my next slide, which is the importance of mindset. And when I originally wrote down the question about mindset, the question, and I want to read this one this time because we're going to switch it. When I brought up the question in my mind, I wanted to know what you believed, how important mindset was for people to achieve their success and make their changes that they have. But I really want to ask, because something you've been saying over and over, we don't often hear on the podcast. I know you to be a woman of faith, and I've heard you talk about it while we're talking here now. How important has your faith, being a woman of faith, played in your mindset so that you can help people transform? Because let me finish this where my thought on this is because one of the things that has often broke my heart is when people tell me to separate my faith from what I do, but I'm like, there is no separation because this is who I am. And helping people understand that when you deal with Brenda, the Soulutionist, you're dealing with the woman of faith that I am, the minister that I am, and everything that entails. I don't have to say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus every 5 minutes. You won't hear me more times than not quoting scripture every second, but everything I do is based on Bible principles. And that's a mindset for me. And I was wondering if that's any ways plays in your business or your processes when you work with clients or just doing your job in general.
100%, like not 99, not 99.9, like 100. Let me tell you a quick little story. So back in 2016, I had just gone through a significant breakup. So a relationship had ended. And this was kind of opening up new doors for me. I was re-exploring who I was. What was my identity now? Who did I want to be? And I happened to be in worship service, right, Brenda? So again, if you're not a Christian, it's okay. Tap into what your thought processes on this, how you tap in, right? But I was in worshiping and I was hanging out with Jesus. And I get these downloads, and I know some people can relate, but I had an impression, a download, and it said, you're only at 2%. I was like, what are you even, like, it didn't even like comprehend. I was like, what are you even saying? Like, what do you mean 2%? Like, I'm an achiever. I was at that point in my 40s. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, what? And like, it's happened again. I'm like, and this is a random out of nowhere. And it took me a couple weeks because I really had to process it and open. And that way I want to encourage you to open to possibilities, right? I wanted to open to that possibility of what if I was only at 2%? What would that even look like? Right. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, maybe I'm at like 60 or 70% in my humanness. I open to God and become the vessel. I now have access, Brenda, to all of the resources of the God of the universe. I have downloads from him, right? I have all the abundance, the favor, the intuitions of the God of the co-creations, right? The faith, all of it. And now, of course, I'm only at 2%. Like it's I became limitless, and that's who you are. That's who every single human being is when we source the God of the universe through us. And when I'm speaking to somebody, it's fascinating. I've been told more times than I can count that I can be very intense, and I have eyes that stare into your
Your
soul.
soul. Yes, I've been told the
Have you heard
same.
that? And
Yes.
yeah, I've heard that like multiple times. And it's not me trying to stare in your soul. It's God's coming over me, and he's wanting
Mhm.
to speak potential into your life and see something and open up something that's been inside of you. You've heard it, you've known it, and let's now open it up so we can heal it. We can move, we can give resources to it, right? And so it's having that conversation with that individual person at that individual moment, because God wants to speak through me to them.
That's true. Can you think once you opened yourself up to that, to the downloads, to the ultimate creation and creator in yourself, can you think of a transformative story that happened with a client that you could definitely know that that was possible because you made that shift?
You know, it was after one of my programs, all the ladies were so connected that they wanted to come together. So I provided a retreat, and they
Mhm.
all came together because they were at Belize and Florida and California. They were all over, right? So we culminated at this retreat, and it was fascinating, Brenda, because I had been praying over them. And when I have clients, I ask if it's okay if I open with intention and prayer always.
Mhm.
And that's just an ask.
Mhm.
Because again, I want a bigger source to actually
Mhm.
have our conversations with. And at the retreat, literally every single woman had a life-changing breakthrough. One of the women is a very, very successful dentist in Florida, has a huge team. And yet she was dealing with shame, blame, and guilt that she had
Mhm.
carried throughout her whole lifetime. And she was finally, for the first time ever, able to break free of that. Right. And there's so many of us. I know I dealt with shame, blame, and guilt from the demise of my marriage. And it held me back for years because I wasn't able to release that. So when you can bring in the God, and he releases that atmosphere of that freedom, right? That healing. And that's what I want. Like, my mission is to free, build, and activate, release, and unify global women leaders into their destiny-driven impact on the world. Like, when we can free the women first, then we can build them up into anything, whatever God created them to be, right?
Right. Jamie, this has been great. Now, time is winding down too fast, but I want to put you on the hot seat before
Woo!
we wrap
Let's
this
do
up.
it.
We want to get to know you. So these are quick answer questions, just really quick answer questions. First thing coming ahead, and we're going to move on about 6 of them. Okay, first question. Jamie, what is a goal you plan to accomplish this year?
Yes, I am going to have a 3-day implementation event that is going to be filled with finding your power source, getting you ignited for this new world economy, this new world that we're in, right? And
Okay.
empowering you with the tools, the economy, and also freeing you to walk into more of your power.
Okay, I'm going to get in your business right now because I thought she's also planning on doing the LUXE Day Everyday podcast. Shout out to Jamie.
Girl.
Coming. Yes, yeah, I put you on blast. Now you got to do it. Okay, here's another hot seat question. What is something you always wanted to learn?
I wanted to learn the guitar and the piano. I started the piano when I was little, but then I stopped. You know what I mean? Also, I always want to learn to fly a plane, but I'm not going to because that's too much work.
I like the ground. Okay, here's another question. What is a time you learned something from a failure?
Well, there's so many.
Just pick one little one.
I learned 10,000 things from my divorce.
Okay. All right, that's quick. We won't go there. That's another show. Okay, you can come back from our relationship show and we can talk about it.
Okay.
What is an issue that you think not enough people are talking about as it relates to elevation strategy?
Self-sabotage.
There we go. Okay. What are you passionate about right now?
New adventures.
I like that. And your final hot seat question, Jamie. You ready?
Bring it. Bring it. I'm ready.
What are you grateful for? You knew that was coming.
Girl, I am grateful to be living this life. I am grateful that I have found my freedom and my purpose, and that I get to work with other women and men, like helping them rise into their destiny. Like, that's so much fun. And I'm just grateful I get to do that.
That's way cool. Okay, now we want to talk about your impact. Jamie, looking ahead, what are your aspirations for the future of elevation strategies, specifically for your Lux everyday life?
Hmm. So I want to get on more stages so that I can share in a bigger way the message of freedom, right? The message of
Mhm.
stepping into your destiny identity. So that's a big piece of it. I want to we're planning on buying multiple properties so I can work from anywhere in the world, right? I want to
I
be
like
able to have that freedom.
that. Okay, Jamie, tell me, how is what you're doing right now helping you live your best life now?
Do you mean like, I'm sorry, I need more.
I mean, like when
Like
you
which
when you
part?
think of all the things you do to support women, to help them elevate their lives so they can live Lux lives every day, how is it helping you live your best life now?
Well, it keeps me accountable, right? It keeps me accountable to do the things that I want them to do. It keeps me accountable to continue to strive and live and lean into more of my Lux life. And I would say that, like, it just keeps me wanting more in a healthy, good environment.
I'm putting your website here on the bottom here. For those of you that want to get in touch with Jamie, it is at luxeveryday.com, luxeveryday.com, so that you can find her. And I wanted to make sure we did that. Jamie, I also wanted to shout you out for the Hot Mess to Hot Success Master Class. Could you tell us about that? I'm going to leave it up on the screen because I want people to be able to see the website, which is www.luxeveryday.com/hot success. Jamie, tell us about it.
Yeah, come on and enjoy me. It's going to be a 4-hour masterclass that is all around, because here's the reality is sometimes we might be a total hot success, but the rest of our lives are hot messes, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe your whole life is a hot mess, or you're not living the life you want to, and you want to reach more of that hot success, whatever hot success looks like for you. And so we're really going to be diving into the different practical ways, the different mindset ways, because like, Brenda, I know you agree with this. Mindset is a huge piece
Huge,
of
huge.
you making that shift and being
Mhm.
able, if you don't have the mindset and the ability to move forward and have the support, you can't do the actions. You can't do them regularly. You won't get to where you want to go. And so we're going to be breaking through a lot of the lies. We're going to be elevating a lot of the strategies that actually create your ability to get to where you want to be.
That is awesome. I'm excited that people had the opportunity today to hear about what you're doing, Jamie. And I want to make sure, just for those who's coming as a reminder, Jamie has a podcast that will be coming soon. You can check her out. She is just starting out. I want you to go and support her because we have to make sure that when people are moving up in their own level in their business, that we do what we can to support them as they grow. So if you are a podcaster listening and you have some good solid advice, DM Jamie and make sure you tell her the things that maybe you learned that she can avoid so she can have a good time while she's doing this. This is the time where we tap in. And what is tap in? This is where you get to know how you get in touch with Jamie. Again, it's at www.luxeveryday.com. And what I want you to remember to tap into, Jamie, all you simply have to do is use the 5-step strategic plan that I have. What do? Each letter stands for something special. First, you transform your mindset to know that if you're ready to let go of the self-doubt and limiting beliefs, then you want to reach out to Jamie. Number 2 thing you do is you announce to the world that you're going to make that change, and then you get accountability from Jamie. Then you prepare yourself by going to her website, luxeveryday.com, and check out all the amazing online programs. She has Allure, Elevation. I'm missing the Hot Mess to Hot Success Masterclass. She has her signature program, Power. You have to go check out. She has so many free resources as well on her website that you do not want to miss. So you prepare. Then I want you to imagine what your life would be like 6 months, a year from now, if you would allow Jamie to be your elevation strategist. And then finally, I want you to nurture that thought and begin to live your best life now. No opportunity wasted. Jamie, thank you for joining me here on Talk to Me. I want you to tell or leave our audience with some piece of wisdom that you think would be useful for anyone listening.
Yeah, in order to lead a unique, extraordinary existence, you have to first lead, right? So, how are you leading? Maybe reflect upon that. And then you have to lead with your uniqueness. What is your uniqueness? You want to celebrate that. You want to open up more to that. And then extraordinary, find extraordinary ways that you can add to the world, right? What is your extraordinary touch? And last, your existence. How are you going to leave a legacy? What is your impact that you are going to leave us with? Because God has tapped into you, like Brenda would say, and he is depending on you to add your special essence to the world.
Well, with that, I want to remind each and every one of you, the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. So choose wisely and choose to check out Jamie over there at luxeveryday.com. Be blessed.